Good morning, dear students. So, last class we studied about dual nature of matter and uncertainty principle, and also solved some problems regarding Bohr's atomic theory, Bohr's atomic model, and dual nature of matter. And here we are going to discuss some other parts, that is the concept of orbit, orbital. And before that, let us solve some problems regarding uncertainty principle. So, what is uncertainty principle? It is impossible to measure accurately. So, it is impossible to measure simultaneously the position and momentum of a microscopic particle with absolute accuracy. So, if we know the position accurately, then we cannot determine what is its momentum. And if we know the momentum accurately, then we cannot determine what is its position accurately. So, in this mathematical relation for this, the product of uncertainty in position and uncertainty in momentum is equal to h by 4 phi. Okay, so regarding this, using this equation, we have to solve some problems. So there are 4 questions given, 4 problems. Among them, let us discuss one by one, starting from last one because of space. So a microscope using suitable photons is employed to locate an electron in atom within a distance of 0.1 angstrom. What is the uncertainty involved in the measurement of its velocity? So we know del x into del p, that is greater than equal to h by 4 pi. But for solving problems, generally we use del x into del p equal to h by 4 pi. And del p, what is del p? Del p is mass into uncertainty in velocity. So, del x into m into del v equal to h by 4 pi, or del v equal to h by 4 pi h by 4 pi m into del x. So, substituting all these values, you can find out what is the uncertainty in velocity. So, in this way, now this relation is del v equal to h by 4 pi m del x. Now, what are given? So, here given h, that is your Planck's constant, 4 pi value you know, m, that is the mass of photon. A microscope using suitable photons is employed to locate an electron. So, electron, you have to use the mass of this electron, an atom with a distance of 0.1 angstrom. So, substitute all these values. Okay. So, del v equal to 6.626 10 to the power minus 34 kg meter square second inverse divided by 4 into 3.14 mass of 9.1 10 to the power minus 31 kg, and del x, that is given. So del x is position, that is given 0.1 angstrom. So 0.1 into 10 to the power minus 10 meter. So 1 angstrom equal to 10 to the power minus 10 meter, 0.1 into 10 to the power minus 10 meter. So that meter square meter, so 1 square meter cancels, kg cancels. And in this way, calculate all these values with the help of calculator. Or if you are good at calculating, then also you calculate Okay, so in this way you find this value is 5.79 10 to the power 6. 5.79 10 to the power 6 meter second inverse. So the uncertainty in velocity is 5.79 10 to the power 6 meter second inverse. Next come to question number 3. So an electron has a speed of 40 meter second inverse, accurate up to 99.9. So if it is accurate up to 99.99%, then what is the uncertainty in velocity? What is the uncertainty? What is the uncertainty in velocity or inaccurate? That is 100 minus that much of percentage. So in this way, an electron is speed. So in this way, you have to first find out what is the uncertainty in velocity. So accurate up to 99.99%. Then uncertainty in velocity, that is 100 minus 99.99 by 100 into 40. So 100 minus 99.99, that is equal to 0.01 by 100. So this is equal to 40 into 0.01 by 100. That is 1 into 10 to the power minus 4. 1 into 10 to the power minus 4 and 4 is there, that is equal to 4 into 10 to the power minus 3 meter second inverse. That is meter second inverse. So the uncertainty in velocity is this much, and given what you have to find out, locating its position. Then del x equal to x by 4 pi m into del v. So del x into m del v equal to x by 4 pi. In this way, del x equal to x by 4 pi m del v. And given also electron given, in this way put the mass of electron and Planck's constant 6.626 10 to the power minus 34 kg meter square second inverse divided by 4 into 3.14 into 9.1 10 to the power minus 31 kg into del v, that is 4 into 10 to the power minus 3 meter second inverse. 4 into 10 to the power minus 3 meter second inverse. So this one minus 31. Okay. So in this way, you just kg cancels, so meter square and meter second inverse cancels. In this way, you only find out for the unit in meter. So what is this value? Calculate all these and you can find out this value equal to 1.45 into 10 to the 1.45 10 to the power minus 2 meter. 1.45 into 10 to the power minus 2 meter. Okay, so the uncertainty in position is this much. Next come to question number 2. calculate the uncertainty in momentum of an electron if it is confined to a linear region of length 10 to the power minus 10 meter. That means del x 10 to the power minus 10 meter. And that what is the value of del p? So we know del x into del p equal to h by 4 pi. In this implies that del p equal to h by 4 pi into del x. 6.626 10 to the power minus 34 kg meter square second inverse by 4 into 3.14 and 10 to the minus 10 10 to the power minus 10. So this value calculate and you will find 5.27 10 to the power minus 25. So this is meter cancels, that is kg meter second inverse. So the del p uncertainty in momentum, the uncertainty in momentum is 5.27 10 to the minus 25 kg meter second inverse. Okay. So next another question. So prove that an electron cannot exist in the nucleus. So among all particles or matter, we know that light has the highest velocity. Always light has the highest velocity. And any other particles or any other object have no higher velocity than that of light. So if one electron remains in the nucleus, generally it remains maximum distance or maximum distance of maximum region of the electron, where electron you can find the maximum region is what is the diameter of the nucleus. And we know the diameter of the nucleus is about 10 to the power minus 15 meter. So within this, this is the nucleus and this is suppose the total atom, as it is the atom and this is the nucleus, its diameter is in the order of 10 to the power minus 15 meter. And in this region, suppose some electron present. That means the uncertainty in position of electron is 10 to the power minus 15 meter. That is the uncertainty in position. Suppose this is the position of electron, not uncertainty. Suppose this is the position of electron. So this electron present in this confined diameter, that is 10 to the power minus 15 meter in the volume. And what is that? We have to find out what is the velocity of electron here. So we know that del x into mass into del v equal to h by 4 pi according to uncertainty principle. Then del v equal to h by 4 pi into m into del x 6.626 10 to the power minus 34 kg meter square second inverse by 4 into 3.14 9.1 10 to the power minus 31 kg and del x of the order 10 to the power minus 15 meter. And calculate all these and you find out this value is nearly equal to, you find this value is nearly equal to 5.79 into 10 to the power 10 meter second inverse. 5.79 10 to the minus 10 meter meter second inverse, while that of light is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter second inverse. So this is the velocity of light. Light or any electromagnetic radiations have this much velocity, while that of electron, if remains in the nucleus, then its velocity is up to this much, which is practically impossible. So it is not possible, which is practically impossible. In this way, an electron cannot present in the nucleus, as its velocity cannot be 5.79 10 to the power 10 meter in second inverse. In this way, an electron also cannot remain in the nucleus. So here we have discussed some problems on uncertainty principle. So according to uncertainty principle, it is impossible to measure the exact position and momentum of a microscopic particle with absolute accuracy. So if it is so, then how can we determine the position of electron and the momentum of electron at a time with accurately? That means if the electron is revolving around the nucleus, it has particular velocity. Okay, then what is its position? So the position cannot be determined accurately. That means the electron may be present anywhere in some spaces. Suppose this is the nucleus, and earlier it is said that electron is moving in a certain circular path around the nucleus. But as we know that we cannot measure what is the position of electron. In this way, the electron is now not moving in the circular path. It has not a fixed path. It may be present anywhere around the nucleus. So in the space around the nucleus. So now the electron is not present in this nucleus. It may present anywhere in the space around the nucleus. It has not a particular path. It may be present anywhere. So it is not a particular path, not in a particular confined circular path. It may present any space around it. So it may be present anywhere around it. So this dotted line around the nucleus where these electrons are present, this is known as this dotted lines. Actually this is given in 2-dimensional, but actually this is a 3-dimensional region around the space. So all these spaces, this is the nucleus and these are the spaces. These are the space, this is the space around which the electron revolves. So this space around which the electron revolves, that is known as orbital. So it gives rise to a new concept. This uncertainty, after this uncertainty principle, it gives rise to a new concept that is known as orbital. So what is orbital? It is the region around the nucleus. It is the region around the nucleus where the probability of finding electron is maximum. So the probability of finding some electron in this confined area in a certain volume in a boundary, that is known as orbital. So there is a certain boundary, not a particular boundary, there is an imaginary boundary up to which an electron may belongs around the nucleus, and this imaginary boundary the space around the nucleus is known as orbital. Okay, so this is the space around. So circular path, you know, when you make a circle, what you consider about a football. So football, when you look in 2D form, it looks like circular, but actually this is spherical. So in this way, this orbital is 3D. So it is spherical, that means it is 3-dimensional. In this way, the orbitals are also 3-dimensional in nature. Okay, so what is orbital? This is the space, this is the region around the nucleus. The region So what is orbital? The region in space around the nucleus, where the probability of finding electron is maximum. That means electron is not found in a particular path. It may be found any space around the nucleus. There is some expectable space around the nucleus where we can find the electron, and that space around the nucleus where we can find the electron may be present, maximum probability of electron finding, that is known as your orbital. So this is three-dimensional in nature, and these orbital are also known as electron cloud. These are also known as, you can say, these are also known as electron cloud. Probability of finding electron is maximum. Okay. So in this way, what is the difference between an orbit and orbital? So an orbit is the circular path around the nucleus where an electron revolves, and orbital is the space around the nucleus where probability of finding electron is maximum. And an orbit, generally this is two-dimensional, and orbital, that is generally three-dimensional. Next, an orbit, the position and momentum of electron can be determined. In orbital, the position and momentum of electron cannot be determined. This is in accordance with uncertainty principle, but orbit is not in accordance with uncertainty principle. An orbit is non-directional in nature. An orbital is directional in nature. Orbit is always circular. Orbitals are of different types. That is spherical, dumbbell, double dumbbell, like this. And an orbit can accommodate maximum of 2 electrons, while an orbital can accommodate 2n square number of electrons. An orbit can accommodate maximum 2n square number of electrons, where n is the number of orbit, and an orbital can accommodate maximum of 2 electrons. So there are some difference between orbit and orbitals. Let us compare what is the difference between orbit and orbital. Okay. So these are the difference between orbit and orbitals. So it is the well-defined circular path around the nucleus in which the electron revolves, and it is the region in space around the nucleus where the probability of finding electron is maximum. Next, it represents the movement of electron in a plane. That is the circular path that is present in a plane. So this is two-dimensional plane, a two-dimensional path, and it represents the three-dimensional movement of electron, just as your football. Imagine about football. When we look, it looks like it is circular in two different, but actually that is in spherical form. Next, in an orbit, the position and momentum of electron can be measured with certainty. It is not in accordance with uncertainty principle. It is not in accordance with uncertainty principle. In orbital, the position and momentum can be measured with certainty. So this is in accordance with uncertainty principle, Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Next, orbits are generally circular. All orbits are circular. Orbitals are of different types. That is s orbital, p orbital, d orbital, f orbital. Different types of orbitals. S orbital is spherical. P orbital is s orbital is spherical in nature, and p orbital, that is dumbbell in nature, and d orbital, that is double dumbbell in nature, and f orbital, that is complex in nature. So there are different types of orbitals: s orbital, p orbital, d orbitals, f orbitals, etc. So different types of orbitals. Next, orbits do not have directional character. So as this is circular, there is no direction in which direction it is present. But except s orbital, as s orbital is spherical in nature, this is non-directional, and all have different orientations in space, different alignments in space. In this way, except s orbital, other orbitals are directional in nature. All other orbitals are directional in nature. Next, an orbit can accommodate maximum of 2n square number of electrons. An orbit can accommodate maximum of 2n square number of electrons, whereas an orbital can accommodate maximum of 2 electrons. So an orbital can accommodate maximum of 2 electrons, and an orbit can accommodate maximum of 2n square number of electrons. So these are some differences between orbit and orbitals. So note down all these. I am keeping here 1 minute, 1 to 60 seconds, so that you can pause this and you can write. Okay, so after this difference, let us now look at what are the different types of orbitals and what are their shapes. So different types of shapes of different orbitals. So first, s orbital. This is spherical in nature. So in x, y and z axis, all cases, suppose this is x axis and this is y axis, and z axis remain above the board and one below this board. So in this we cannot express. So for that, generally we represent in this way. This x, y, z axis, we can represent one above the plane, another below the plane. So below the plane, for that I am writing like this, and this is suppose above the plane, and this is x, y, x, o, x dash, y, o, y dash, and z, o, z dash. Suppose this is the O. So S orbit, this is the nucleus, suppose, and around which the electron revolves. So this is S orbital. So this S orbital is spherical in shape. This is the electron cloud of S orbital. Okay. Next come to p orbital. So p orbitals have double dumbbell shape. P orbitals have double dumbbell shape. P orbital have dumbbell shape. P orbitals. These are dumbbell shape. Dumbbell shape, that is double bell concave. So there are three types of p orbital: px, py, pz. Px remains along x-axis, Py remain along y-axis and Pz remain along z-axis. So suppose this is x. Okay, I am writing z-axis like this. There are three. Okay, so x, O, h dash. So this is p orbital, px, and all these axes remain imaginary lines, remain like this. So these are known as, this axis is, this is orbital, is known as px, and py, suppose x, O, h dash, and y, O, y dash, z, O, z dash, sorry, z, O, z dash, and here also x, O, h dash, y, O, y dash, and z, O, z dash. Suppose then this present, suppose here it is present below this, in this way, y, py, that present like this along the y-axis, and z that present in z-axis. Okay, so these orbitals, these are known as your, so one is, actually all these are wave functions, all these are a form of wave. So this is a positive form wave and this is negative wave function. Okay, so this is px, this is py and pz, which remain along z-axis, that is pz, which remain along xy-axis, that is py, and which remain along x-axis, that is px. So p orbitals are of three types. Next come to another, that is d orbitals. D orbitals. D orbitals are of 5 types. Among them, 3 remains in between axes and 2 orbitals remain along the axis, and these have double dumbbell shape. Double dumbbell shape. But another orbital D, so these are generally dxy, dyz, dzx. These orbitals remain along the axis, and another dx square minus y square and dz square. So these 2 orbitals along the axis, and these 3 orbitals remain in between the axis, that is in area wise. Okay, so here suppose this is x-axis and y-axis, x, O, h dash, y, O, y dash. Then in between these x and y-axis, the orbitals remain, that is known as your dxy. So as it is 3-dimensional, we cannot represent it in paper well. In this way, just I am drawing here a rough diagram. So this is dxy. In x, it remain in between x and y-axis, 2 orbitals. Suppose you take 4 balloons and bind it, so and keep it, so it forms a planar structure, and keep it in xy plane. It remain in xy plane. Next, another orbital, that is yz. Suppose this is y, O, y dash, and z, O, z dash. Then these orbitals remain in zy plane. This is dzy. Similarly, the orbitals which remain x, x dash, z, z dash, which remain in xz plane or zx plane, that is dzx, dxy, dyz and dzx, dyz and dzx. So these three orbitals remain in planes, xy plane, yz plane and zx planes. And another two orbitals, that are your dx square minus y square and dz square. So I can draw here so that it is visible to you. This is again x o x dash, y o y dash, x o x dash and y o y dash. So here the orbitals remain along the axis, okay. So this is dx square minus y square and another dz square. So the dz square remain along the z axis. Suppose this is x, x dash and z o z dash, and this remain only in z axis. So this is actually like PZ and a circular layer. Another plane is surrounding to it. Okay, so this is the shape of dz square. So this is dz square. In this way, there are 5 orbitals. So dxy remain in xy plane, dyz remain in yz plane, dzx 4 lobes remain in dzx plane, and dx square minus y square, it has also 4 lobes and they remain along the axis, dxy axis, and dz square that remain along z axis. So 2 lobes remaining like this and another circular portion surround to it. Another circular portion like a ring surround to this. In this, as it only present in z axis, that's why this is known as your dz square. So these are 5 orbitals of d orbitals, 5 types of d orbitals. And z orbitals, f orbitals, these are difficult to draw here. So in plain and paper, these are very difficult to draw here. So it has very complicated structure. Okay, so these are the shapes of orbitals. So after knowing the shape of orbitals, so how these orbitals are present and how these are arranged in an atom. So to know all these, next come to another term that is known as your quantum numbers. Quantum numbers. So what are quantum numbers? So quantum numbers, these are the set of 4 numbers which gives the complete address of an electron. That is the complete information of an electron. So quantum number are the set of 4 numbers which gives the complete address of an electron or complete information of an electron. That is about it, what is its energy, what is its main energy level, what is the distance from the nucleus, and what is its subcell, electron present in which subcell, what is the orbital, in which orbital the electron present, and what is its spin. So these quantum numbers give the complete address of an electron or complete information of the electron, that is electron present in which cell, which subcell, which orbital, and what is its shape. all these informations can be known from these quantum numbers. Suppose we want to know the complete address of any person. That means we should know in which street, then which city, then which state, then which country. So as a country is divided into so many states, and the state so many cities, and city again so many number of streets, and the street there are some homes, house number, and house number some persons are there, some rooms are there, and some persons present. So in this way, to know the complete address, first from state, from country to state to district to city to street to again house number. In this way, electron present in which cell, in which subcell, in which orbital, and in which state, all this known from this quantum number. So what are these quantum numbers? So quantum numbers are a set of numbers. Actually, that are 4 numbers. A set of 4 numbers. So quantum numbers, these are a set of 4 numbers. Set of 4 numbers, which gives, quantum numbers are a set of 4 numbers which gives complete information about the electron, that is its energy, shape of subcell, orientation, and the spin of electron, all these known from quantum numbers. And there are, so here given quantum numbers, a set of 4 numbers. So in this way, there are 4 types of quantum numbers. So there are 4 types of quantum numbers. 4 types of quantum numbers, that are principal quantum number, azimuthal quantum number, magnetic quantum number, spin quantum number. Okay, so there are 4 types of quantum number: principal quantum number, azimuthal quantum number, magnetic quantum number, and spin quantum number. So quantum numbers are a set of numbers which gives the complete information about an electron, that is energy, shape, orientation, and spin of electron. Okay, so let us discuss one by one about these quantum numbers. So this is an important long question. So what are quantum numbers? Briefly describe about the 4 types of quantum numbers. In this way, you have to write from here. So quantum numbers are a set of 4 numbers which gives the complete information about the electron in this type. Okay. So let us discuss one by one. So first come to principal quantum number. Principal quantum number represented by letter L. Okay, so this principal quantum number is given by scientist Bohr. So this is given by scientist Bohr and represented by letter N. And this quantum number represents the electron belongs in which energy level. It represents the main energy level of it represents the main energy level in which the electron is present. So this N have different values, that is starting from 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. It is an integer. Okay, so N equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 dot 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 like this. And for a particular value of N, that represents one main energy level. For example, if N equal to 1, that is equal to K cell. If N equal to 2, that is L cell. If N equal to 3, that is M cell. If N equal to 4, that is N cell, like this. And it also describes what is the radius of, what is the distance of electron from the nucleus. It also describes the distance of electron. It also describes what is the energy of electron. So this quantum number describes the energy cell in which the electron present, the energy of electron, the distance of the electron from the nucleus. It also describes how many number of electrons present in a cell. So in a cell or in a main energy level, the number of electrons present is by the formula 2n square. And the energy of an electron for hydrogen-like species can be determined by the formula minus 2 pi square m e to the power 4 z square by n square and h square, where n represents the main energy cell. This value 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. Okay. So what is the distance of electron from the nucleus? What is the energy of an electron? How many electrons present in a main energy cell? And what is the main energy cell? All these informations given known from principal quantum number. Okay, so look at what are the points. So again, principal quantum number. So this quantum number given by Bohr and designated by letter N. It determines the main energy level, the distance of the electron from and the distance of the electron from the nucleus. So if N value is higher, then its distance is more. If N value is higher, then its energy is also more. The value of N lies between 1 to infinity, that is an integer generally, and for a particular value of N, there is a designation of this cell. So N value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like this, and the cells are also K, L, M, N, O, P like this. Next, the energy of an electron in a cell is given by the formula En equal to minus n square x minus 2 pi square m e to the power 4 and e to power 4 z square by n square h square. Okay, and higher the value of n, more is its energy. The higher the value of n, greater is the distance of the electron from the nucleus, and the radius of the nth orbit can be known by the formula Rn equal to n square h square by 4 pi square m e square z. And maximum number of electrons present in a cell is also given from this principal quantum number by the formula 2n square, where n, if n equal to 1, that is K cell, in K cell number of electrons present 2 into 1 square 2. So in K cell there is 2 electron. So L cell, when we consider about L cell, then number of L, so when L, n equal to 2 into 2 square, that is equal to 8 electron. And in M cell, that is M3, M cell n equal to 3, 2n square, that is 18 electron. Similarly for N cell, so 2 into 4 square, that is equal to 32 electrons. So in this way, K cell contain 2 electron, L cell contain 8 electron, M contain 18, and N cell contain 32 electrons. And angular momentum of an electron can be calculated by the formula mvr equal to nh by 2 pi, where n represents the number of cells. If n equal to 1, then h by 2 pi. N equal to 2, then h by pi. N equal to 3, then 3h by 2 pi, like this. So just point out all these numbers. Okay, all these points, write down all these points. So this is about principal quantum number. Next come to another quantum number, that is azimuthal quantum number. Azimuthal quantum number. This is also known as subsidiary quantum number. Also known as orbital angular momentum quantum number. Orbital angular momentum quantum number. Okay, it has different name. So it is given by Sommerfeld and represented by letter L. Okay, so this quantum number describes an cell can be divided into how many subcells, as a country divided into different states. In this way, a cell divided into how many subcells, that is given by this azimuthal quantum number. So this quantum number describes the shape of orbitals, the subcells present in a cell the subcells present in a cell, the shape of orbitals, and the number of electrons present in a subcell, and what are the different subcells present in a cell. All these given by azimuthal quantum number, and this is related with principal quantum number by the relation. So L equal to 0 to n minus 1. For a particular value of n, there are n values, n number of L values. For a particular value of n, there are n number of L values. There are n number of L values. So when n equal to 1, so L has only one value. For a particular value of n, there are n number of L values. It has only one value. And what is that value? 0 to n minus 1. So 1 minus 1, that is 0. Similarly, for n equal to 2, what is the L value? So L has two values. If n equal to 2, L has two values. And what are the values? 0 to n minus 1. So first 0, then 2 minus 1, that is 1. 0 and 1. Similarly, for n equal to 3, L value 0 to n minus 1. So it has three values, and the three values are 0, 1, 2. Similarly, for n equal to 4, L has 4 values, and the 4 values are 0, 1, 2 and 3. So as it represents the different cells K, L, M, N, and the increasing order of energy is K cell is less than L cell, than M cell, than N cell. In this way, for a particular value of L, there is a designation of this subcell. For example, if L value is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like this. So this in this way, its subcells are 0, it represents S, P, D, F, G, H like this. So there is a representation of subcells. For a particular value of L, there is some designation of the subcell. And so in this way, so if n equal to 1, that represents your which cell? That represents your K cell. And K cell L equal to 0, that means L cell consists of one subcell. And what is that subcell? That subcell is S subcell. That subcell is S. And when n equal to 2, how many cells are there? So what is the cell? The cell is N cell. The cell is N cell. As this is N cell, in this way for N cell, n equal to 2, L has 2 subcells. So K cell consists of one subcell. Now this N cell consists of 2 subcells. That is 2 subcells, that is S and P subcell. Okay, for 0, S, for 1, this is P. Similarly, when n equal to 3, sorry, this is L. When n equal to 3, then N cell. So this N cell consists of 3 subcells. That is 0, 1, 2. For 0, this is S. For 1, this is P. For 2, this is D. Similarly, for n equal to 4, so I have written always n. So first K cell, n equal to 3, that is N cell, n equal to 4, that is N cell. So N cell, n equal to 4, L equal to 0, 1, 2, 3. In this as n equal to 4, L equal to 0, 1, 2, 3 means it represents your 4 subcells, that is S, P, D and F. Okay. So another thing, so K cell consists of only one subcell, that is S subcell. L cell consists of 2 subcells, that is S and P subcell. M cell consists of 3 subcells, that is S, P and D subcell. And N cell consists of that is S, P, D and F subcells. And again there is S, there is S, there is S. So all these cases are S to identify between them. So for first cell, generally written as 1S. For second cell, written as 2S and 2P. Okay, so the principal quantum number is written here. And for N cell, 3S, 3P and 3D. And for N cell, it is written as 4S, 4P, 4D and 4F. So in this way, these subcells are represented. So this is 1S subcells. So these are your cells. This is your principal quantum number. These are your azimuthal quantum number, corresponding azimuthal quantum number. Okay, and the different subcells have, if between S, P, D, F, the increasing order of energies of different subcell is S, P, D and F. Okay, and for a particular value of N, there are N number of L values. So in this way we can represent. And how many number of electrons present in a subcell, that is also known by this azimuthal quantum number, and the orbital angular momentum is also determined from this azimuthal quantum number. So this is about the explanation. And what are the points to write here? Just I am writing. Okay, so first you look it for 1 minute, then I am going to rub it, and next I am writing what are the points there. So these are the points of azimuthal quantum number. I have already explained. Now this is the time to note down what are the points, what are the informations given by azimuthal quantum number. So this is also known as subsidiary quantum number, also known as orbital angular momentum quantum number, represented by letter L. It is given by Sommerfeld. It is represented by letter L. So this quantum number represents the subcells present in a cell. It is related with principal quantum number by the equation L equal to 0 to n minus 1. For a particular value of n, there are n number of L values. If n equal to 1, then there is 1 L value. If n equal to 2, there are 2 L values. There is 0, 1. If n equal to 3, there are 3 L values. 0, 1, 2. If n equal to 4, 4 L values. 0, 1, 2, 3. Similarly, for a particular value of L, there is a designation of the subcell. If L equal to 0, subcell S, 1, P, 2, D, 3, F, 4, G, 5, H. Similarly, next, the increasing order of energies of different subcell is S, P, D and F. And the maximum number of electrons present in a subcell given by the formula 2 into 2L plus 1 or 4L plus 2. So when L equal to 0, that is S subcell. So S subcell 4 into 0 plus 2, that is 2. So 2 electrons present in S subcell. When L equal to 1, when L equal to 1 means P subcell. In P subcell, how many electrons present? 4 into 1 plus 2, that is 6 electrons present. And when L equal to 2, L equal to 2, so 4 into 2 plus 2, 4 into 2 plus 2, then 4 into 2, 8 plus 2, 10 electrons, then 10 electrons are present in D subcell. And when L equal to 3, L equal to 3 means F. So F means 4 into 3 plus 2, that is 12 plus 2, that is 14 electrons present in F subcell. So S subcell can accommodate maximum 2 electrons, P maximum 6 electrons, D maximum 10 electrons, F maximum 14 electrons. So how many electrons present in a subcell? It is known by azimuthal quantum number. And how many electrons present in a cell? It is given by principal quantum number. Next, if it gives the orbital angular momentum of electron present. So in a circular path in a cell, what is angular momentum? That is given by Bohr mvr equal to nh by 2 pi. And what is when it moves in this cell, in a subcell, when it moves, the electron moves in a subcell, then what is this angular momentum? Then this angular momentum is determined by the formula. This represents the angular momentum L equal to L into L plus 1 h by 2 pi. So for subcell when s equal to for L equal to 0, this total value becomes 0. So for 1, this value of 1 is 1 plus 1 root 2 h by 2 pi. So in this way, the orbital angular momentum also known from this azimuthal quantum number. Next, note down these points. Okay, so this is important for long questions or short notes. First, to note down these points. So what is then? So this is about principal quantum number and azimuthal quantum number. And what is magnetic quantum number and spin quantum number? We will discuss in next class.